I would like to introduce Sherese. I have given you a brief introduction prior to seeing you here right now. I just want you to tell us a little bit about yourself, your life, your story, whatever.
I grew up in a place called Warrensville Heights, in the Cleveland area. I went to college at the University of Michigan. So once I graduated, I met my ex-husband in college, who got a job here on Wall Street in New York. So when I graduated from nursing school at the University of Michigan, I moved to New York. So worked as a nurse, going on 15 years now. I got a master's degree, became a nurse practitioner. In between, I stopped working for a little while and started my own business for a couple of years in Chicago. So moved to Chicago and then I decided to come back to New York. So currently, I am still working as a nurse practitioner, but as a nursing director at a hospital here in New York. So that's kind of my story. I have two kids. Been divorced for a couple of years now, and everything is great.
Wow. So, one of the reasons why I am interviewing you is because you completely inspire me. You've always inspired me.
Thank you. You inspire me too.
Thank you. And I just felt it was appropriate. We started Eliminate saying we were like third and fourth grade, and we always knew that we would be here, or be. And then there's way more further for us to go. We both know that. But I want to know what spiritually keeps you grounded. What is your spiritual practice that keeps you grounded with all of the things you have going on?
Well, I'm a Christian. That's how I was raised. My father's a pastor, so I was brought up that way. So I pray every day, and I also meditate every day. I wake up every morning. Before I do anything, I take, 10, 15, 20 minutes, even 5 minutes if I'm low on time, just to center and, ground myself for the day. And that's just kind of how I live. If I don't meditate, if I don't pray, like I just don't feel like myself. So that really just keeps me level every single day.
I need something that is true that no one else agrees with you on.
It's a tough question. To say what no one else agrees with, my story. So, I'm just gonna give you a little dig, especially because of today in the college playoffs. So, I think Michigan Wolverines are the best football team in the country.
No, guys, I went to Ohio State. She went to Michigan, so this is why this is funny. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
So that's it. No one's gonna agree, but that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
All right. Okay. So, what is your favorite quote?
My favorite quote is by E. E. Cummings. It takes courage to grow up and become who you really are.
I love that. I love that. And do you share that with the kids at all?
Yeah, so I have it hanging in my bathroom, and we see it every day. I used to have it in their room, but I put it in the bathroom just for all of us to see every day. And it's in a good place. You're in the bathroom multiple times a day. It's right next to the light switch, for even guests come over and they say, oh, that's great. But it's just a good quote to live by, just to help you keep going. And, you just know, like.
Question is, what is your advice to your 19-year-old self?
Oh, as a 19-year-old, and you're a kid. So you're in college, if I think back to when I was 19, like I was doing okay and, semi-responsible. But the only thing I would say, it didn't affect me tremendously. But what I would say, to my 19-year-old self is to be careful with credit. I went to college. I worked, but you get all these credit card applications in the mail, and it's easy. And I didn't go crazy, but I had a couple of credit cards, and I didn't really respect, if my payment was due, it was paid 10 days late or whatever. So I kind of like graduated from college with not so great credit. I fixed it. But I would say just be careful at least with your credit. You can really do yourself harm with credit cards. So just like now, I live with my money. I rarely use credit cards. I use cash or my debit card. I like to live by whatever money I have in the bank. And I learned that actually after my divorce. But I just like to use my means is what's in the bank. And that's what I live by. So that's what I would tell my 19-year-old self.
What is your favorite song quote?
I don't really know the full verse or the word just as I'm thinking of them, but my go-to song is Comfort Zone by Marvin Sapp. It's gotten me through so many days. It just says, in order to go somewhere you've never gone, you have to do things that you've never done. So that's the theme of the song, and it's great and it's powerful, and I listen to it many times every week.
That's important to me because music touches so many people, and you have to use it. It touches people in good and it touches people in bad. What is your superpower?
I guess if I had to choose, I think it's just being a mom. That comes before anything. And obviously, we all know it's not easy being a mom. Especially a working mom and a single mom. But I think I am able to do lots and lots of things, but at the end of the day, I'm a great mom. The last thing I would have is being a mom. It really takes a lot of energy and patience and power. Just to be not just a mom, but a good mom. So I think it's a superpower in itself, just being a fantastic mother.
I agree. Can I add one that I think your superpower is?
Sure.
Caring. I have never met someone more caring, more in tune to other people's needs, and just not you're not fluffy, but you just know what people need and you give it to them.
That's exactly right. I am not. You're right. I'm not a super fluffy person, but I have the biggest heart and a heart of gold. Whether it's for my children, whether it's for you, my parents, my siblings, my patients. Whatever it is. So I think it is a gift. To be able to say, here's what you need to do. Here's what we need to do. I love you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but this is what needs to happen right now.
I agree. Yes. I think that's a superpower. Everyone doesn't have that because most people don't care. Most people don't even care enough to say anything. And you care. So I reached out to Sherese's sister, Candace, and she is going to explain how Sherese was as a child, and she is going to touch base on what you just heard Sherese describe as her superpower.
As a child, Sherese was bossy, which she still is, and it's not a bad thing. A lot of times she is right. So, sometimes I'm careful about calling it bossy or calling it experienced. So let's say she was experienced. As a mom, as an adult, she's still bossy, but very protective, very warm-hearted. She'd give you the shirt off her back. if she had it or if she didn't, you know. I can always count on her to be there emotionally, physically. Um, she's always there. She's someone that will understand but also be real and tell you, you know, when to snap out of something that you shouldn't really be involved in. And she's like that with her children, you know. As a mom, I can tell she's their best friend. They love her, they respect her, you know, they look up to her, which is something that, you know, I've always admired, especially while I'm raising my children. You know, I admire the relationship that she has with the kids, and how well she does with them, considering everything that she's gone through in life. You know, she's probably the strongest person I know. And as my sister, like, I call her my best friend. And I call her that because you know, she's not someone that is just going to tell me what I want to hear. She's going to tell me what I want to hear plus some, what I need to hear, you know, and that's what I want for my niece and nephew. I want them to have a mom who understands, but also is going to lead you in the right direction. And that's what she does with the kids. And I mean, I look up to her in every way. I love her very much. I wouldn't pick a different sister if I had to. So cheers to the best sister.
At this time, I'm going to pick back up and continue my interview with Sherese. What was the most challenging issues that you faced?
I think, you know, I mean, you know, I had a period in my life, you know, over that lasted a couple of years. It wasn't just one issue, you know. I moved to a place where, you know, I didn't really know anyone. You know, I was going through a divorce, you know, I wasn't working, you know, I like quit my career basically to run this business, which, you know, I wasn't making any money. So I was running this business 7 days a week and also being a mom. So, you know, I just had like a lot of stressors over that lasted a couple of years. And it was insanely hard.
Now, from that, what did you learn? Because I know when you go through the most challenging parts of life, you learn the most. What did you learn from that situation?
Well, at the end of the day, you know, what I had to do was, I remember there was a day where I was about to cry myself to sleep. And then I said, okay, this is the last night you're going to cry yourself to sleep. So you get it out tonight. Tomorrow is a new day. So I did, you know, and this is, you know, again, with prayer every day, with meditation every day. So, you know, I woke up the next day. I cried myself to sleep that night. I woke up and, you know, I was laying in my bed and I opened my eyes and it was a sunny day. And, you know, I noticed the sun. I heard the bird was working for me in my life and what wasn't. And then I made adjustments accordingly.
One of my biggest pieces of advice when people are going through stuff is just that. One, you gotta allow yourself to cry. You gotta allow yourself to get it out, cry, be angry. You allow yourself to feel. But there is a cutoff time where you gotta say, you know what? It's over. I'm all cried out, and at this point, it's time to start fighting. And I think so many people get stuck in the cry phase, or they get stuck with not even allowing themselves to feel anything. All right, for all the single moms out there, we know it's tough to juggle everything. How do you do it? How do you juggle everything?
Well, so, you know, as far as work, you know, I mean, I don't work terribly long hours, but, you know, I think, you know, my boss doesn't always love it, but what I know my limitations. Like I know if I get an email from a patient at 9 p.m., I'm gonna answer it. So my way to deal with that is to not put email from work on my phone anymore. Just so I know when I leave the office, I have devices at home I can check, when I'm able to check work emails. But I know, like, if they go to my phone, no matter what I'm doing, I will check them. So, that's how I can kind of like turn off from work. And, with the kids, they know I work hard. They also, I've had to teach them that, mommy has to have a social life. So, if I go home a little late tonight, tomorrow I'll be home early. But, they recognize that I need my own time, outside of work and outside of them. Like, I need my time, whether it's for me or, to go out with girlfriends or, whatever it is. So that's kind of what I do. Fridays are always dedicated to the kids. After school is treat day. What are we doing? Like 100%, whatever you want to do. And then, my weekends with them, they get to pick. But during the week, it's to find balance.
Yeah. It's very important for moms, especially single moms, to take time for themselves. I went years without taking time for myself, and then when I sent my kids away, I realized how rejuvenated I felt, how good I felt. So I think it's very important that women know that they need time for themselves. Would you agree?
Oh, for sure. And, even, as an example, for Livy just turned 9, but for her 8th birthday last year, we did a mommy-daughter spa day. It was her first time at the spa. So when she came out, she was like, oh my God, Mom, this is amazing.
Right.
Like, I see, like, why do you need this? And never said anything. Like, to this day, if I say I'm going to the spa, nothing.
Right.
Like, she got it.
Right.
Just relax.
Yeah. That's very important for women to know to take out, because we take it on. We take everything on. We wear it on our back. We put a smile on our face. We don't complain, and we just need. I mean, even if sometimes I'll tell them from work to when I get home, I'm on a break. I need 15 minutes before I start, cooking. Mommy needs a break. I'm on a break.
Yeah.
And even in that 15 minutes, I am better. I'm mentally better because I was just able to, just get that breath out and just start over again, because that's my important job. When I get home, that's my real job, being a mom.
Right.
So, what's one piece of, I feel like the girls in this generation got it twisted. Like, they got it messed up. They think that they should be the men of the prize. And I feel that the women are the prize, and that if women would be better women, men would have to be better men, because back in the day they used to court women. So that's my little advice I would give to this generation. I want to know, what would you tell the young women coming up nowadays?
So there are a couple of things. Like, you need to do the best that you can. Never expect anything, and you can use me as an example, and I'm like fine and I'm successful, and but there was the time where I felt like I was a little too dependent on my ex-husband. I mean, not terribly, but a little too much. So once that was over, it took me a while to learn how to adjust. So you always want to be able to do things for yourself, like always. Okay, everything else is extra. And then the other thing is, sometimes I feel like an old lady. I mean, I might not look old, but sometimes I feel old. But you really have to be careful with texting and social media. Like, just don't really just
be a lady. If someone asks you for a picture, whatever it is, don't send it. For what? Because what's going to happen is, if you become the next Oprah Winfrey or the next, Valerie Jarrett, whoever, you have to worry about what it, 5, 10, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So always be mindful of that. It's not worth it. So just really have a lot of self-respect for yourself.
Right.
And if people don't appreciate it, then they should just keep walking.
See, but the thing is, they won't appreciate it in the beginning, but they're gonna realize eventually that you are onto something. Like I tell my son, we didn't come up in social media days. So
Right.
the stuff that we did, we can talk about, but you had to be there type of thing. Now they'll record it and YouTube it and that's it. That's a scholarship. When you did something at 12 years old, that's your scholarship at 18. You really have to be careful.
That's right.
Yeah.
Even when I was in college, there were like guys, that, would try to go out with me. These are guys, and they're like athletes, and, they really, and, I would say, hey, and the guys respected me. This is a big school, and, girls were, probably like throwing themselves at them, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
And, they respected that. So always remember, don't think short term, think long term.
Yeah. I completely agree, because at the end of the day, that guys like to chase. Guys are going to be guys, and they like to chase. And if you give it to them, they say they don't want it, they don't want to wait, but they really do.
And they will.
And they will. That's why you have people. That's why you have women. To be honest, like, you have really high women that know their worth, and they get the guy. They always, and you will wonder, well, why does this girl get the guy? Because she know what she's worth. Like, know your worth, know your value. I think that is excellent advice. Let's see. Now, what do you? This is my favorite question. What do you know for sure?
I know for sure that I am here for a reason, and that I'm not there yet, but I know I am fulfilling my destiny in this world. Like, I know that for sure.
So I wanted to give a special shout out to Sherese for allowing me to interview her. I also wanted to let you know that you guys all have a destiny in this world, that you are responsible for the energy that you bring into the room, into a world, into your work situation, and that no matter what you are going through, it's a lesson. It's not going to defeat you. So again, thank you for taking the time out. I hope you join me for my next interview. Don't forget, train dirty, eat clean, and dream. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Have a great day.